I realize that I have probably preached on this text 3 times in nearly a decade of being with you. I went back and looked at them, and I'm not going to do it again, but let me just do a reprise. First, I said this isn't a miracle text. Jesus didn't use magic. The people used sharing to take a little bit and make it a lot. Secondly, this is a Eucharistic text, telling us how food works for the people who follow Jesus. Whenever we eat, we believe that someday soon everybody will eat as well as we do now. And that's why so many times when I pray in public, people say, "Oh, Pastor, would you give a prayer?" It's always the last minute, and I always say, "Oh, God, hasten the day when everybody in the world will eat as well as we will right now, even if the chicken is rubber and the mashed potatoes are cold." Hasten the day. The third theme is watch out for we who are foodies. We get way too involved with our food and way too little involved with its meanings. We only creep. We just creep toward the meaning of food. Or better put, foodies are aestheticians about food. We just experience the beauty of food, and that's only one of food meetings. You know, we photograph our food and send it out on Facebook. We plump it. We arrange the colors. And this text, of course, is prophetic about food as well as being aesthetic. You can be prophetic and aesthetic at the same time. You can be coiled about food. You can eat too much or eat too little. Truth about food is when we unpack multiple meanings, what foodies simplistically call the farm-to-table movement, the whole Megillah. In my search for something new to say to you today, all I could think of was a picnic. What we have here in this text is an eschatological picnic. It's outdoors. People brought things. That's the definition of a picnic. Everybody brings something, like we do at Agape. The text is an eschatological, Eucharistic picnic. So there are lots of rumors about those big words, about the end time and the agape meal. Let me name a couple. See, a rumor is a half-truth told by somebody who's disconnected and doesn't have the sense to check out a lot of sources. A rumor is told by somebody who's going to get something out of telling it, even if it's a cheap form of intimacy or a continued new form of self-delusion. There are lots of rumors about food. First rumor, food is calories. Well, of course food is calories. You only have to live in New York City to know that food is made of calories. You can't even buy a sandwich without finding out how many there are in it. But enter prophecy and its insistence on feeding the thousands. Isn't it strange that some of us live to reduce calories in a low-fat, low-sugar frenzy, and that the majority of people in the world don't get enough calories? Can you imagine a third world woman looking at a first world New York City sandwich, first the package, then the enumeration of the calories, 520 calories for the Havarti dill, hormone-free mayonnaise with a dab of honey mustard, 2 would-be tomato slices, and grain-fed turkey on gluten-seeded rye. $7.95. Enough said. Third rumor, and Gary approached it, income inequality, which has been rapidly increasing for the last 50 years, is inevitable. It's just got to be that way. It's going to happen. It's just going to happen. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. It's on its way. Income inequality is the way things are. And we do know that nothing serves the status quo as well as an inevitability argument. Back to the text, note that ordinary people took off for a mountain and fed each other. Income and resource inequality is not inevitable. One of the ways we say that is through an agape meal. We say that a little sharing tips the universe, and agape undermines the inevitability argument physically and spiritually. Physicists and scientists have taught us the butterfly effect, that small changes in any system can create large effects. As long as people have agape meals, the inevitability despots, the predestination determinists don't have a prayer. 5 loaves, 2 fish, 5,000 fed. That is the deep logic and magic of agape. It hastens the day when all will eat as well as we will today. There's an additional rumor about hunger, and today is a great day to mention it. It goes to the notion of sacraments. That rumor is if we just ate the agape meal right, then we'd have the strongest possible weapon against the destiny despots. Some people even think there's a right way to pack a picnic. There isn't. Early Christians had their agapes out of town, where they gathered secretly around their leader. Many ate in caves for centuries, hiding what they were doing from the authorities who did not want to hear the good news that hunger is not inevitable, that what is inevitable is justice. Today, the details of our agape meal can sometimes interfere with our participation in it. Who sets it up? Who cleans up? How do we make sure there's enough grape juice or wine or cups? How do we make sure? How do we get it right? Can we get it right? The details do matter to us because there is a deep magic in the inevitable feeding of all. Have you ever seen a person buy a lottery ticket? They want to make the magic. They want to do it right. They check out their numbers, they do rituals, they bless themselves, they cross themselves, they do things to win and get it right. But the deeper meaning of agape is you can't get it right until everybody eats. And that's coming at the end. It won't come by any little ritual or getting any ritual right. Likewise, we are so excited about communion that we don't want to jimmy our luck. More importantly, though, we cannot jimmy our luck or its deep magic. We can just taste what is coming, and in that tasting, bring it on. In the taste, we bring it on. Reverence matters at agape. Doing it right does not. You may find it preposterous that 2 loaves and a few fish fed so many. You may also find a good picnic preposterous. But please think for just 1 minute about that painting that is the most famous painting of a picnic. You already have it in your mind, right? The Luncheon on the Grass by Edward Manet. 1862, he painted the juxtaposition of a female nude and a scantily dressed bather on a picnic with 2 fully dressed men in a rural setting. Now that's preposterous. But artists join theologians in thinking the preposterous as the best antidote to the inevitabilities. The most important part about a picnic is that everybody brings something, and Charles Dickens said it this way in a book called The Mystery of Edwin Drood. He said, quote, "Miss Twinkleton has contributed herself and a veal pie to the picnic," unquote. The right way to picnic or to agape is to remind ourselves that hunger, the kind that we still have after an expensive sandwich, and the kind that comes from too few calories. Hunger is not inevitable. Instead, what is inevitable is feast. And Miss Twinkleton and you and me presenting ourselves at the picnic with something. A lot comes from a little. Amen.